So today I just thought we'd take a look at this KAIWEETS HT118A as well as these Electricians lead set. So KAIWEETS sent this for us to look at today, so let's get into it. Comes with a meter, the standard lead set, 2 AA batteries, thermocouple probes, the user's manual, let's go ahead and pull off the protective film off the display. Like we got one screw to remove to put the batteries in. Number 2 Phillips to remove that. I like this battery holder. Hopefully to protect the board if any corrosion does happen with the cells. Let's put the screw back in. And there we go. Shows we have 2 fuses. Got a 600 milliamp and a 10 amp. Let's look at the display. I really like the illuminated jacks. That's really cool. The display is nice. If we hold the flashlight button, we see it's got a little flashlight in the back, similar to the other KAIWEETS meter we looked at in a previous video, the KM601. And I still have my room light on, but my bench light is off just to show a little bit better of how the light does. So in a tight, it'll be handy to have that light. Cut the light back on the bench here, and we'll take a look at the backlight. And I really like the backlight on this meter. If it shows up on video as good as I'm thinking, this might be my go-to meter in the future. So here on temperature, we're reading out in Celsius and Fahrenheit internally, and we have the external probe here we can hook in, and it shows us the jacks to hook it in. And now if we heat up the tip, we should see a change, and there we go. So temperature measurement can come in handy, so this is really nice to have. So we look at our illuminated jacks here showing milliamps. We're still in our milliamp range here, and DC, now AC. Of course it shows hertz on our secondary display. So DC or AC milliamps. If we go to amps, we see that 10 amp jack light up. And of course we have our non-contact voltage. So if I bring over my quick test opened up, we should be able to sense it from a distance here. Yep, it's already showing. It's showing green. If we got even closer, it would go red. And it should show green if we find it on the side of the cord here. And there we go. The hot wire is right there. Alright, so let's look at this lead set really quick. Comes with a little information guide here. These leads do feel a lot softer and pliable than the standard lead set. And I really like the way you have the interchangeable tips on these. They all have the little plug in them. We also have these little 15 amp rated alligator clips, and these clips have a really good spring to them. I really like these little clips a lot. They're small, but they do have a lot of spring tension to them. And these little mini grabbers are also neat. These are only rated for 3 amps. Where the leads itself are rated for 10. It's just using for test on small boards and things like that. Lower current checks. Go ahead and put our leads into our jacks. and yet the core does feel a lot softer than the standard leads for sure. Go ahead and put our test probes on here, and this is category 4 rating here with nothing but the tip showing. And we take this cover off. Now we're category 3, but now we can do some checks with ohms. And there we go, it zeroed out pretty well. Let's see, continuity check. Yep, tremendously better than the KM601. I do like the update time on this meter a lot better. And if you hold it, you even get your light to show. That's cool. And on diode check, yep, we do get our beep. Awesome. I really like that. So even though sometimes with your leads plugged up, you might not can see the light when you change your setting or your function, but that's okay, because if you change it like so, then the one you're supposed to change it to shows up, so that's neat. I'm going to take my leads now and stick them in my quick test to get our 120 volt AC measurement. Here we go, let's close it. There we go. Yep, 121 volts. And I do like how the display lit up orange. That's a really cool feature. I'm going to put these mini grabbers on here and we'll do a few tests on just a few passive components. The first thing I want to do is put it on this old 9-volt battery. So this is a discharged 9-volt battery from a meter or something that I had just sitting here, and 8.03 volts. So I think I'm just going to actually swap the leads over and just keep it more apples to apples on the leads itself on what we're checking. 8.03 volts. I got a couple resistors here, so let's go to ohms, and this one's going to be a high resistance, I think a 12 meg ohm. Yep. And you see it's such a high resistance that even my fingers across it, my body's impedance does affect the reading, so we got to make sure we don't touch anything, of course, on a high reading like this. And 12, just a little over 12 meg ohm. Even the connection itself is making it drift a tad, but right at 12 meg ohms. I have one here that's a 200 ohm. The impedance of my body being a meg ohms does not affect the 200 ohm reading at all, of course. So 200.8 is what the Fluke read this as. Let's switch it over now. KAIWEETS, let me flip it to ohms. Yep, almost the same thing, 200.5. Yep, I'm very happy with that. Oh yeah, the 12 meg ohm. I gotta do the 12 meg ohm on the KAIWEETS now. Yep, 12.0. Yeah, see my impedance affect it as well, obviously. We're right at 12.04. Awesome. So next up, I have a diode. I use a diode check a lot on my bench for checking diodes as well as PN junctions of transistors. Oh yeah, 0.54. Good beat there on the forward check, and the reverse check is good. We'll go back to forward and switch the leads over to the Fluke. And forwards check, oh, I gotta put it in diode check here, here we go. And remove it and put it back on to make it beep. Yep, 0.54, yep. And we'll put it in reverse as well, and it should be open, or like an open circuit there, yep. One thing that'll be fun, I got this tricolor LED. So we have 3 different anodes and 1 common cathode for these colors. And the first one here is green. And the Fluke does light it up, but it doesn't show you the forward voltage of it. The blue is the same way, it doesn't show it, but it does light it up. And the red, yeah, 1.7 volts. So It does show the forward voltage of the lower voltage. Let's go over to the KAIWEETS and see how it does here. Common cathode. Let's see, let's go to the, this should be the red one. Yep, 1.72 forward voltage, yep. Let's go to the blue, 2.67 forward voltage. And on the green, right at 2.5 forward voltage. So yeah, that's really handy. This KAIWEETS meter is updated to do a lot better with the LED forward voltage check. Gives us a higher voltage reading on the forward voltage test on diodes. So next up, let's do this capacitor, and this is a 1000 microfarad or 1 millifarad capacitor, and the KAIWEETS has it as 1.073, and this is, as it shows here, 1000 micro. Let's go ahead and transfer the leads to the Fluke. Does read a little faster. It's showing 1063 microfarad. I also have my peak tester here that I'll typically use to actually check capacitors. Honestly, go ahead and cut it on before we connect on this peak. You always want to do that in case one's charged up. It has an automatic detection and discharging feature as long as it's powered on. So here we go, and yet we are showing 1030 microfarad. While I got the peak out, let's go ahead and hook up this little 100 microfarad. Yeah, 100 microfarad and 16 volts rating. You can see that. There you go. Showing 98.86. Let's go ahead and hook up the Fluke. Showing 103 micro. Transfer the leads over to the KAIWEETS. Right at 106, 107. I'm happy with that. A lot of the things I check will be just fine with this meter, and I really like the display. And the rest of the time on video, we'll just look inside. It looks like this vinyl case is in a groove. Man, this surprisingly, this little groove holds on very well. It's kind of hard to get out of the groove there, but it comes on off pretty easy. Kind of like Batman. I don't know. Let's go ahead and remove the battery. I don't know if we got to take the batteries out of the battery holder or not, but go ahead and take it off and remove the 4 screws from the corners of the case. And just wiggling back and forth, it comes apart. And I really like that battery holder. It's got the spring contact, so in the case of corrosion, that should be a lot better. It not be directly on the board or soldered on, so that's really neat. I like that a lot. And look how deep this groove is too for the meter. The groove goes very deep into the case or housing of the meter. Very good. We see our ceramic fuses. We see our current sense resistor down here and our jacks. We see our input protection. Rather simplistic and not as much protection as Fluke, of course, but we are talking about a meter that costs 10 times less. We see our buzzer here, and I'm assuming this is our wiring for our LCD backlight. I'm going to go ahead and remove these 8 small Phillips screws. Unless I can tell, one of them might be holding on the display, but it might just be a board capture display. We'll see. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, still got to remove these top ones as well. Yep, and these here in the middle part. There we go. This top part don't want to pop out easy. There we go. And we're out. We do have the zebra strip, So that is how that comes apart. Those 4 top ones had to come loose to remove the board. So this is our LEDs for our jack indication. Here's our light guides for that. It's pretty cool. It goes over to our jacks. Our jacks are not quite as heavy duty as I expected, but looks like they figured out how to do it though. See our contacts for our rotary switch. We also see the LED up here for our red and green indicator that goes right above our LCD. And I let these ball bearings fall out beside the knob. You got to keep pressure on this. That's just the indentions for the knob, and it goes like so. No capture for that knob. You kind of got to hold that in place. Now we know. So we'll capture that and flip it over. And let's see what the light guides look like. Cool. Let's just shine the flashlight in at those guides. This is our little membrane for our push buttons. It's for our function, our hold, our min and max, and the light. Now I was trying to get this little piece off earlier. It's kind of stuck. There we go. It's loose now. I was able to get the non-contact antenna out, but it was just wedged in there, I guess. Either way, as long as I slide it in there, we're good, but it will slide out now. Just get our LCD in place and our jacks. Yeah, these jacks are a little bit flimsy. You got to make sure they go in there well. Get them lined up, and we should be golden. Yep, everything's back down flush. Going to go ahead and put our 8 screws back in the board. Go ahead and put our back cover back on and put the batteries in and make sure everything's working. And there we go. Our display is good. Yeah, our LED flashlight's good. We'll check our backlight. Awesome. Rotary dial feels good. Our jack illumination looks good. Awesome. I'm going to put the 4 screws back in the corners of the back cover. Put our battery cover back on. And there we go. Put our Batman mask back on. It does fit in that groove surprisingly well. But I really like this little meter. The display works really well. I knew we only did a few passive tests here with it and just compared it with the reading that the Fluke gave side by side here, just for simple testing on the bench like we'd use it for troubleshooting and what have you. And I want to thank KAIWEETS for sending this out to us. The HT118A as well as the Electricians lead set. I really like the display on this meter, and it's probably going to be the one you see on my bench from now on because I do like how the display looks. I like a lot of the features, including the jack illumination. And you tell me what you think, but I think it shows up on video a lot better. I always like to ask my Harvey dog what he thinks. He definitely thinks the KAIWEETS shows up better. Are you sure, Harvey? Which one now? Okay. I want to thank KAIWEETS for sending us this meter as well as partnering with us with the affiliate program. And they asked me would I like to see any of the meters and do any more reviews, and I asked for this meter as well as the lead set. They also have a really nice the KETO5 multimeter test lead set. It's a 23-piece kit, and it's really nice as well. So maybe one day we'll get our hands on that one as well. And I also let KAIWEETS know that I was interested in the benchtop power supply that they sell. It's kind of a new product of theirs, and they did let me know after they sent this that they would probably in the next quarter send out the 0 to 30 volt adjustable power supply. So I'm really looking forward to getting that as well. And I'll have some links down in the description for any of these you might be interested in. And any of these you click on are affiliate links, and they help support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So if you like this video today, please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and God bless.